This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the Compliance Week 2022 podcast series. Compliance Week is thrilled to be back 100% live and in person after 3 years apart. Back for its 17th year at Compliance Week National 2022, compliance, ethics, legal, and audit professionals will gain insights and make connections at the industry's premier cross-industry national compliance event, offering knowledge-packed, accredited sessions and take-home advice from the most influential leaders in the compliance community. In this podcast series, we will detail some of the speakers and what they will be discussing at the event and why they're attending Compliance Week 2022. I hope you will join me in attending this conference, and particularly this year when it's literally the first major compliance conference which will be held live since the pandemic began. We link to the conference in the show notes, and listeners to this podcast get a special discount, which is also listed in the show notes. I hope to see you in May at Compliance Week 2022. In this episode, I visit with Carrie Penman, the Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer at NAVEX. We talk about her presentation at Compliance Week 2022, which will be a conversation on more is better, empowering compliance with risk signal data. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode. And today I'm extremely pleased to have with me one of my favorite people in all of compliance, Carrie Penman. Carrie, first of all, welcome. And thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thank you, Tom. I'm so excited to be part of this session and to see you soon.
So, Carrie, what is your current role?
I am the Chief Risk and Compliance Officer for NAVEX. I manage all of our internal risk and compliance programs, as well as doing a lot of the thought leadership and conference presentations and research for NAVEX. So a little bit of everything. It's fun.
So, Carrie, I'd like to turn to your presentation at Compliance Week, and it's not a panel presentation or a Carrie speech. It's something a little bit different that I think really is one of the unique aspects of Compliance Week, which is the conversation. And it's the conversation entitled More is Better, Empowering Compliance with Risk Signal Data. So I was wondering if, one, you could tell us how the conversation is different than a panel or other presentation. And then what do you hope to bring to the people who attend this conversation?
So I'm really excited about this presentation. I'm actually going to be joined by Justin Ross of FedEx. And we're going to have a conversation with the group about using data, which, as you know, Tom, is a huge topic and a very important topic because data can tell us so much about what's happening in our organization. And we all know that we get a ton of information from hotline data, and NAVEX just published the data from our hotline benchmark this year. But really, this conversation is going beyond that to think about as well what other data points can help organizations with that risk signal, if you will. Where are we seeing potential problems? And I really look forward to hearing from the group in the session about what data points they're using, which ones they would love to have, how they're working with other functional groups, and really how data is a pivotal business tool. And I can talk today, so that's awesome.
I'm going to somewhat sheepishly admit I've not heard the term risk signal before. Could you explain what that is?
Well, I think it's something that, we've been talking a lot about here, which is, a lot of organizations are talking about integrated risk management, and it's really taking the integrated risk management to understand what are the signals, what are the data feeds, what are the information points that are going to serve as those early warnings for our organizations.
Carrie, now I'm going to turn to the question I most look forward to, and a smile is already on your face because you know it's coming. Why are you looking forward so much this year to Compliance Week National Conference?
I am so excited to see everybody. And you, Tom, especially, it's been a long time since the community has been together at the Compliance Week conference. It's a great conference, and I think so much is learned in the social conversations as is learned in the sessions, and I think we've all been craving and missing that. So I just can't wait to see everyone, say hello, catch up, and be together and share best practices together.
Well, Carrie, I'm greatly looking forward to seeing you and all of our colleagues at Compliance Week 2022. And I hope our listeners will join us as well. So I can't wait for a couple of weeks to see you.
Can't wait. Thanks, Tom.
This is Tom Fox again. I hope you'll plan to join me at Compliance Week 2022. Registration information is found in the show notes. And of course, there's a discount code for listeners to this podcast that I've listed in the show notes as well. It's going to be a great conference. We're all going to be able to get together in a full conference for the first time since the pandemic began. I hope you will plan to join me and all of your fellow compliance professionals at Compliance Week 2022.